Why are you listening?
Why are you different?
Why are you here?
Why are you connected?
Why are you inspired?
Why are you tuned in?
Why are you on CJRU?
Hi everyone, this is YRU on CJRU. I'll be your host tonight, Alfred, and my co-host, Christina.
Oh, I didn't know I was co-hosting. So, Alfred, what is our show about?
Well, if you look outside, it's a wonderful day as it's winter, a wonderful season for the holidays.
Well, that all sounds great. And what are your plans for the holidays?
Well, for me, the holidays has a lot of spare time for myself, so I love to do all my hobbies and free time, like watching shows and spend time with family. How about you?
Well, I don't really have much planned for the holidays. Just enjoying the hot chocolate and the candy canes and some, I guess, spending time with family and friends.
Oh. So what does the holidays in general mean to you?
Well, I personally think it's a great time to discover local artists because at this time there's so many Christmas markets and just markets in general where you can discover local artists that create so many innovative things. And once I find an artist that I like, I continuously buy their products for like gifts. It's great to support local. However, one thing that I really like about this holiday season is that it's a giving season. At this time of year, it's very important for NGOs to work on their budget. And during the holidays, everyone seems to be more giving. There's an increase in donations and volunteers. A lot of time is given to others. I guess you can say I like the sense of community and the sense of giving that Christmas brings. What about you? What is your take and perspective on Christmas?
For me, the holidays is about spending time with your family and friends, giving, all the warm emotion. When it's with giving, it's either giving a wonderful present or just giving time, effort, just anything on showing your appreciation for that person, giving to the community, giving to the people who don't have as much, giving your appreciation that they're there.
Yeah, absolutely. Gifts don't have to be material goods. Yeah. Well, I think it would be great if we heard some other views on the holidays. What do you think?
That'd be awesome. I wish we had some.
Yeah, well, I actually have Cody and a couple friends with me that would love to share their take and perspective on the holidays.
That's great. I'd love to hear them.
We're going to take a quick break and listen to some poetry by Jay Saunders.
You and I, we're like magic in a snow globe, that even when shaken, you can watch our love surround us. Jay Saunders.
And here I have with me is Dove, who is a special guest on the show, and he would like to share his points of views on the holidays. Hi, Dove.
Hi, Christina. Thanks for having me on the show.
How's your day going so far?
Oh, it's been really good. It's been nice and relaxing. Been looking forward to coming here and doing the show with you today.
Well, we're super excited to have you. All right. Well, our first question is, what do you do during the holidays?
Well, I enjoyed a bunch of different things. I think the holidays, for me, it's a good time to catch up on some shopping with friends, pick up those extra goodies that you need, usually some good sales out. Also, as a big sports fan, specifically NBA fan, Christmas Day is where you have some of the top teams in the NBA get together and playoff rematches and final rematches, so it's a great time to catch some basketball action.
That all sounds super exciting. Is there anything Christmas related that you do?
Well, I'm Jewish, so we don't actually celebrate Christmas, but we do celebrate Hanukkah, which is a great holiday, and I usually spend it with my family every year. The past 4 years I've actually been away from home, so I wasn't able to celebrate it with them, but there's a nice Jewish community at Queens where I went to school that I would go usually every year to celebrate, and that was very nice. But this year I'm back at home, so I'll be with my family. We're going to make some potato latkes, which is a tradition on Hanukkah that we do every year. Have that with a little bit of sugar or some applesauce, and you're in for a happy holidays.
That all sounds super amazing. It sounds like a really great community to be in and sounds super exciting as well. And I love to try those potatoes.
Anytime.
Well, as a Jewish person, just walking around every day, you can see there's a whole bunch of Christmas decorations and music and It's unavoidable. How do you feel when you come across that?
Yeah, well, I think, we do live in a predominantly Christian society, so of course you see those things, but you gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt that that's just kind of the mainstream, not be put off by it. Like some Jewish people might take a strong stand like, oh, why aren't they respecting our religion? But, I think a lot of the people really do, and it's more of a part of the culture just in Canada. So, it's not something to really be put off by. It's something that you should just, be happy that it's kind of just a festive season, a holiday season where people can just get together and celebrate whatever they like and just have a good time, So people, I don't think, should get too caught up in it, and I try not to myself either.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's definitely a great time to get together, reflect on the new year, be with your loved ones. Yeah, absolutely. So when people tell you Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, is there a particular way that you would respond?
Yeah, usually I'll kind of mimic back to them whatever they say. So I work a couple of jobs. One of my part-time jobs, I serve beer at sports stadiums here in Toronto, which is actually a lot of fun. Obviously, at this time of season, you get that a lot. So you never want to offend anybody. You're there to give the fans a good experience at the games, and part of that is being respectful and respecting whatever it is that they believe in. And usually if they say Merry Christmas, they'll expect a Merry Christmas. If they say Happy Holidays, they'll expect a Happy Holiday. So I'm just here to really give the people what they want, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you say this whole Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays is highly politicized?
I think it can be way too politicized for sure. Kind of like what I mentioned before. The holiday season is not about nitpicking words. It's not about picking fights over people over syntax. It's really a time where people should just enjoy being around each other, being around their families, really not make a big fuss about these things. Because in the scope of things, it really doesn't make a difference. All it does is really increase animosity between people, and that's not what the holidays are about. So come on, people. Let's be civil here. Let's get together. Let's just have some fun and enjoy ourselves.
The holidays, regardless of what you believe in or where you come from, is definitely a time to give and just be with your loved ones.
Illumination, scintillation, a nation awakened against assimilation. Learn the Torah from the spinning tops.
Hey, it's Christina again. I am here with Cody. You may remember him from previous YRU shows. Cody and I just finished skating at Nathan Phillips Square, and we are now indoors warming up with a cup of tea.
Hi, Cody.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Doing all right.
What are your plans for the holidays?
I am going to my aunt and uncle's house in Mississauga, which is kind of the only family that I have that lived in the city. And I'm spending Christmas Eve there with my partner, which is kind of interesting, kind of fun, kind of nerve-wracking at the same time.
Oh, why is that?
Well, because, my aunt and uncle have met my partner before. He came over for dinner once, but this is sort of, the first sort of, family event that I'm, bringing a love paramour to. And, I don't know.
It's getting serious.
Well, we've been together for, we've been together for over a year at this point. We have been together for a little while. It's nerve-wracking in a few ways that I didn't think.
What about it makes it nerve-wracking, though?
When I first brought him to their place, I was super nervous that time as well. I was insanely nervous. And then it was totally fine. I don't know, this time around, I'm not entirely sure who's going to be there or how many people were there because, when we went the first time, it was just me, my aunt, and my uncle. It was just us, but now it's a family get-together, so, there'll be my uncle's family, including, his mom and, maybe his brother and his partner and, all of these other people and maybe any friends that they've decided to invite over this year. And I've never really sort of, taken him to, a guy like that before. And I'm kind of, going over all the things, or,
that
all
could
the...
possibly happen?
Yeah, intrusive questions they could ask. I mean, last night, I think we sat down and, talked about what some of those questions could be and how we would answer them, or,
Oh, prepared? Great.
Yeah, because I was oh, I don't want this to become really awkward really quickly, or, start running through my head, and I'm oh. It makes me a little sad because my mom can't meet my partner.
Okay.
Because my mom, my dad, and my brother live in Alberta, and so I bet they probably feel kind of jealous that they can't meet him. I don't know, I'm excited but nervous at the same time, I guess.
Yeah, there's definitely lots going on. So don't overthink it.
Yeah, I mean...
It's such an exciting time. You're sharing your life with everyone else.
I feel bad, though, because it kind of makes my partner sad. Well, he's not out to his parents, and so they don't know about me. With previous people he's been with in the past, his mom especially has just never really been supportive of any of his relationships, and that's really hard on him. It kind of makes him sad that my family is, like, so welcoming and so wants to meet him, and, like, they're buying him a Christmas present this year, and, like, he doesn't really get to have that, or he doesn't get to have that. Even if it wouldn't be with me, he doesn't really just get to have that with his parents. And so it's difficult, and I feel bad about that, and I don't want to make him sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, yes, he is part of this family, but then he has his own family as well. Yeah, that must be very difficult, especially like this time of year, right? Like, it's all about getting together with your loved ones, celebrating, and like not everyone gets to have that opportunity.
No, sometimes this part of year just reminds you of all the ways that you might not have the greatest family. I'm lucky enough to have like a pretty good one, but even this year things are a little weird for me because I recently found out my parents are splitting up. Kind of big.
It's tough, yeah.
Now that we're heading into this time of year where I'm thinking about my family most, it's a really confusing thing to think about. In some ways it makes me think about all of the ways in which my life has changed since I lived with my parents in the ways that it will never be the same. Since I moved away, I haven't been able to have Christmas at my grandma's house like we used to. And then that was a scary thing to think about. And then around the same time the year before, the house that we used to own got sold, and so it was torn down. And so the house that I lived in, it was the one constant thing in my life as a child and as a teenager, and then that's no longer there, so I can never have another holiday there again. And then my parents moved away to Alberta, and so I'll never have that in my hometown ever again. And now my parents are splitting up, and it's hard not to have that on my mind while still trying to enjoy it. Part of me just wants to embrace what I have available to me. Now that I live down here, I do have my aunt and uncle, and I'm welcome there whenever I want, and they love me, and I can have a different version of a family Christmas, not the one that I'm used to.
Creating new memories, cherishing the ones that you did have. Yeah, and I think you mentioned that this year you're celebrating Christmas a little bit differently. You have your first Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah. He's such a sweetheart. I don't really think he was ever really intending on buying one himself, or at least not until a lot later on. But with all the things that have been going on, all of those things mixed together, including my parents splitting up, has been putting me kind of through the ringer as far as depression and anxiety. And I don't know why, but this year I just really, really wanted to have a Christmas tree and just decorate the apartment we live in. And he has indulged me. And we went and picked out a lovely fake Christmas tree from Canadian Tire.
Beautiful, and ornaments.
Yeah, and all these decorations and lights, and I don't know why, but it just made me feel so much better, and the Christmas tree makes me really happy.
Yeah, it seems like something about Christmas, there's a symbolic aspect to it, filled with emotions, and yes, there are difficult times. However, you are experiencing some really exciting times. You're celebrating Christmas a whole new way this year. That's super exciting. As you can imagine, like Western society, you're like walking outside, you see all these Christmas decorations and hearing all these Christmas songs. Unavoidable, and you have people asking you, like, what are you doing for the holiday? How's that make you feel in general?
I think of that several times already today. Sometimes I try really hard to be conscientious of the fact that, like, not everyone enjoys Christmas or enjoys the holidays, but, like, I also work in retail. So it's like, we really push Christmas. Like, are you buying gifts? Are you buying this for yourself? And I'm like, well, why don't you buy this? Buy this huge thing. It's perfect for everyone in your family. Get 7.
And you.
Okay? And that's a weird thing, because, like, all that stuff gets on my nerves until I'm at home. And then when I'm at home, I'm like, oh, it's so nice. I put on, like, playlists, and I listen to it, and it feels so much nicer. But, like, for some reason, you're out in the mall, or you're out in the store, and, like, it's just everywhere, and it's, like, assaulting you left and right. And, like, the commercialization of it is really weird, don't you think?
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. Like, once I'm home by myself or with my family, I feel, like, super excited. I get this warm feeling. But once I'm, like, outside, I feel like there's a standard that society has created, and I'm like, what Christmas should be about. What do you think the holidays or the Christmas season has come to be?
In some ways, I feel like it's more alive than ever in the form of charity and give, and to try our best to experience peace and giving, because of all the things that are going on in the world right now, with all of the hardship that is going on. And that, in some ways, is never more alive. But then on the other hand, like, the supreme commercialization of it all is never more so omnipresent than it is now. It just exists on those two sides right now. I mean, but there are some of the ways that people do give. People want to feel good around this time of year. But what that leads to sometimes is, like, not enough people give money. You know, people who, like, go out to, like, No Frills to get, like, 15 cans of tuna to donate. When you could have taken that $20 and you could have just sent it directly to them. Believe me, you are not going to get food any more cheaply than, like, someone whose job it is to find food for, like, the measly amount of, like, donation that they already get at a food bank. And that tuna may just end up sitting around going unused just because it makes you feel better to give something physical instead of give money, because giving money doesn't come with the same sort of, like, fuzzy. And it makes people feel weird when you tell them how they should give something for free. It's like, well, isn't it just good enough that I'm giving something? I'm like, yeah, it's nice that you're doing something, but there are better ways to do it. Like, give, like, truly give in a way that will change someone's life, even
like
for
make
just
an
a second.
effort to do some research about the organization that you're going to. Talk to them. What is it that the people need?
Like, what is it that you think they need? I was on the internet and Facebook. Someone was looking for donations for little gift boxes that they were making for homeless people.
What do these gift boxes entail?
For, like, a bunch of different stuff. Like, winter coats, yes. Winter coats are great, definitely. Socks, also awesome. However, I would say, having previous experience being homeless, I would say, like, a lot of people actually already have really good winter coats because it's something that you go out of your way to try to get. But something that, like, really changed my life on, like, a daily basis when I was homeless was, like, tokens. Tokens. If you don't feel good about giving money, tokens as close to giving money as you can get and still feel kind of fuzzy. Yeah. Because, like, all of a sudden, you have made a homeless person completely mobile. They can go anywhere in the city that they need to.
Access resources.
If they want to go to the food bank to pick up food, instead of, you don't have to give them a $3 can, you could give them a $3 token, and that will take them to a food bank that can give them so many more things than you can fit into a gift basket.
Yeah, they can go to, like, any services or resources that they think that they need, whether it be, like, mental health support or a food bank. And yeah, Toronto's a really great place in terms of providing these resources.
I mean, now that they're phasing out the token.
Yeah, it's a bit more difficult.
And I was actually really upset about that one. It all of a sudden makes the services that are offered, not necessarily even just to homeless people, but to youth, especially underprivileged youth. All of a sudden it makes those services so much harder to give out, because part of what keeps youth coming back is an ability to come back. And so you give them 2 tokens, they'll come back the next day or they'll come back next week because they have a way to get there. But then now you can't give out tokens.
Okay, so it seems like what I'm getting off of you is, like, there's some things that you don't like about the holidays, the commercialization, and the fact that there are some people who are giving just for the sake of giving, feeling good about themselves. What's one thing that you favor in the holidays?
Probably still the movies.
Movies?
Still the movies. I love cheesy, kitschy, chintzy, awful Christmas films.
This reminds me, sorry, I don't remember what the movie's called, but you were talking about a movie where Santa has this machine where he has the power to change the weather. Yeah. Well, if you had a similar power, if you could change something about the holiday culture, what would it be?
If there was a way that we could change this sort of overemphasis on Christmas, if there's a way to keep the spirit and the values around Christmas while removing how sort of omnipresent Christmas actually is, like, make some room for some other holidays that are celebrated around the same time. I wish that there was more of an acknowledgement about how much a mishmash Christmas actually is of, like, several different holidays, and several of which aren't Christian in origin, so that you can take more of the religious aspect out of it as it's celebrated widely.
I mean, like, there are those who, like, definitely have the opportunity to, like, celebrate Christmas religiously or not in their own ways, but then there are some that just feel like...
I hate all those people that are like, the war on Christmas.
So in terms of the whole, say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, do you think it's politicized or too politicized?
I think it's way too politicized. I think it goes both ways. I don't think anyone should feel forced to say Happy Holidays, and I don't necessarily feel like anyone should be reprimanded for saying Merry Christmas. You say whatever it is, like
You feel like a responder?
Yeah, like I would say, like, say whatever you're feeling comfortable with. It's nice to lean towards Happy Holidays because it's nice. It's a nice and neutral phrase, but, like, if you celebrate Christmas, Like, obviously, you're gonna want to, like,
spread the cheer.
You like wish people a Merry Christmas, even if they don't celebrate it. Like, because I do that, and like, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I still wish people a Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Especially when you know that they're celebrating it.
Yeah, and like,
and it means a lot to them too.
I'm hoping that you
A
are
good
doing
season.
good, just like around this
Having
time
a
of
good
year,
season.
essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goodwill.
Supporting goodwill, being supportive of each other, acknowledging that like not everyone's in a good place right now. All right, Cody, well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for your time. Had a lovely time skating with you.
Me too. It was a lot of fun.
All right, well, that was Cody, everyone. We'll see you back in the studio.
This holiday, there will be a baby's first, while the family surrounds and makes new traditions. But someone is having their first without a loved one, maybe with or without family, reliving traditions that make them feel less alone.
Here we have an anonymous person who wrote into us to share their views on Christmas. Christmas always seemed like a party you went to because you were invited, but once you were there, you don't really have fun. All your friends are having a good time, so you convince yourself that you are too. But you don't really get it, any of it. You're just there because you have nothing better to do. Every Christmas I see spirited people partake in festivities, exchanging gifts, host gatherings, spend time with family and friends, and every aspect of it seemed to be deep-rooted in traditions. I myself have tried to partake in things others seem to enjoy, but I was left with no sense of meaning. While it will never mean the same to me as millions of other Canadians, Christmas happens, and it happens every year. I guess I try to make the most of it and hope that one year I'll finally just get it.
It's that time of year when we begin to reflect, extending our hands and opening our doors to family and friends, and to those less fortunate. But as I pray and open my eyes, I see the wrong shade and places of red. I see destruction instead of unity, hate instead of peace, fire not from a fireplace, tears not from joy this holiday season. Where has our humanity gone as our angel falls from grace? J. Saunders.
Here we have Elisa that wrote to us to share her views on the holidays. She says, as a participating Christian, Christmas has come to take an increasing meaning in my life. I have always thought Christmas was exciting because of my family's December traditions. In early December, my family and I would spend valuable time together, cutting down a tree, taking it home, and decorating it. Early December was also the beginning of Christmas baking. I have fond memories of making and sampling several kinds of Christmas cookies with my mom. On Christmas Eve, we would sometimes go to church service. Other years, we would stay home and watch Christmas movies together. Christmas Day was incredibly exciting. I remember waking up early and heading to my Christmas stocking to begin the festivities of the day. We would also gather together for Christmas dinner. The day was about family and spending quality time with others. My decision to commit my life to Christ several years ago has given the holiday a whole new meaning. The Christianity I practice values family time. Christmas is the time of year where I'm able to focus on loving the people around me. Christmas is also the time to reflect on events of the previous year and focus on self-improvement. I ask myself critical questions like how I can better serve the people around me, how I can better chase the passions that my Creator has given me, how I can continue building community and seek other like-minded people. My faith in Christ has taught me that life is about serving others and building community and loving one another. When celebrating the day that Christ first came to earth, I keep these ideas in mind.
And that concludes our holiday segment. I would like to thank my wonderful co-host, Alfred, those who have contributed their views on the holidays, Dove, Alyssa, Cody, and Anonymous. A thank you to Jay Saunders for the lovely poetry and Micheline for reading them. A special thank you to Rhonda and Dow, Audrey Thompson, and Sandy Wania Katz of the Office of the Provincial Advocate for Children and Youth, and Michael Newton and Jackie Toonstra here at The Scope at CJRU.
The views and opinions expressed in the show do not necessarily represent the Office of the Provincial Advocate for Children and Youth. This is YRU. Thank you for listening.